So welcome everyone to the Facebook live stream. This is our series called Get Curious, and we get to have the wonderful and interesting Tim Updyke.
Tim Updyke.
So Tim,
Rasta man.
I know that you're not nervous with all the lighting and the cameras because you told us a couple minutes ago that you were on a court show.
Yep,
TV.
Yep.
So you have TV experience.
A little bit, yeah. I did a little stint back in my youth. Yeah.
Nice. So not intimidated by any of this.
I actually have been recognized for that.
No way.
Really?
Surprisingly, yeah, at my previous job. I seem to be a rather recognizable guy. Some people either do know me or think that they know me. Yeah, which is more often the case. But yeah, people actually watch the show.
That's good. That's funny.
It's just a little weird, but yeah.
So the first question I have is, how long have you had dreadlocks?
I've been growing my hair about 3 years.
3 years?
3 years, yeah.
How long does it take to make a dreadlock?
I guess it really depends on how you start. I have like naturally curly, like really coarse hair.
Oh, okay.
So I tried doing it myself. It didn't work out so well. So I actually went to a local salon called Dulier's in Muskegon, and they actually helped me with it. It was really neat because they were trying to look to kind of get into that market. And they said, well, you'll just be our, test subject. So yeah, they actually did it for me and got them all locked up. And at first it's very tedious. It's very time consuming. It's a lot of work. And then, the maintenance and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm 3 years in. Obviously my hair grows like crazy.
You're fully committed?
It's hit and miss. It's funny because a lot of people I've been in real estate for about a year now. People know me as the realtor with dreads already, which is cool.
Yeah.
It's sort of that memorable thing. But if there's people that seen me in high school, they probably wouldn't really recognize me now because I normally have short hair, kind of clean cut guy. So
yeah,
a bit different. But it's a good icebreaker. It usually segues into the marijuana ordinance.
Yeah.
People assume that you know a thing or two.
Yeah. Which and I don't. I ironically enough, but it's nice. I think it does break the ice with the comfortability, and let's talk about growing recreational pot in our backyard.
Yeah,
sure. We can talk about that.
That's a niche.
Yeah,
that's a niche.
Yeah.
So were you born and raised in Muskegon?
Yep, born and raised in Muskegon. Traveled a little bit with my aunt and uncle when we were younger. We lived in Hawaii for a while.
Wow.
Colorado, and Missouri. Yeah,
Okay.
but I was real young. I don't remember any of it. But ended up back here in Muskegon.
Nice.
Well, back in Muskegon.
That's good.
How long have you been in real estate?
So I've been licensed since March of 2018.
But you have experiences.
Yep. I bought my first investment property back in 2009. It was on a whim. I bought my first house in 2005. Kind of always wanted to do, the residual income thing. So I bought a house on an auction, sight unseen, for $1,000.
Wow.
Drove by it. At the time,
$1,000.
I didn't have access to it, so I credit carded the lock and did a walkthrough. And
No way.
I said, "This house looks pretty nice."
Wow.
The house ended up being moved to the foundation in 2001. They picked it up and put it there in Muskegon Heights. And so the house is actually in really good shape. There was a $1,500 auction fee, and I spent about $1,000 to renovate it. And I still own the house. It's under contract.
What's it worth today?
I sold the house pretty cheap actually, which that's like what the real estate faux pas.
Yeah.
So it's too cheap.
Yeah.
But I sold the house for $24,500. Market value on it's actually probably closer to $34,000.
Okay.
But I sold it to another agent in our office. She had a client that was kind of looking, and we were just casually drinking coffee and talking about it. And I said, I got one I'd sell because I've been selling a lot of mine. And she said, I got a buyer that's really interested. He's buying a lot there. And he did a walkthrough and loved it. It's a really nice place. So I said, put it in contract. So hopefully close on that middle of next month.
Okay. Yeah. How many rental properties have you owned?
That's a good question. So I have some commercial ones as well.
Yeah.
My commercial units are, I think there's 5 plus a residential that's attached to it. I think at the most we owned were about 10 altogether.
Okay.
Yeah, and they're fun. It's good, especially when you get a good tenant. I'm pretty good with the people relation kind of stuff, but it's got its woes.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that. Everybody's got a horror story.
Yeah.
Actually, my business partner, he does a little bit. He has his own properties. I have mine. Then we have some together. He had some of the worst ones, but they all pay at the end.
Yeah. So you are officially in real real estate for just shy of a year.
Yeah.
As a licensed agent.
Yep. Licensed agent for just under a year.
So just give us some stats here. What's your first year been like?
First year's been great. Yeah. My idea with getting into real estate was to sell my own properties, to be able to sell those. From everything I understood, if I can make it 3 to 5 years of selling my own properties, helping people buy and sell, I'll be pretty well established. So that was going to be my retirement goal.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of looking back at the year end numbers, I ended up. I was like 48 in Muskegon County. It was pretty good. That's pretty good for 3/4 of a year.
Yeah.
I did like 2.5 million. I realized from Brenda Harris in our office that if I do deals on my own houses and I sell them, then I should actually put them into the MLS.
Sure.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So I missed out on a couple of numbers.
Yeah.
But, so that was my learning year, and actually what I learned is I did pretty well just helping people buy and sell houses. And it's a lot easier than flipping houses. So
Yeah.
I think that for 2019, that's what I'm going to focus on.
Yeah.
Is that I didn't think I was going to be fortunate enough to get my friends and family to be able to sell their houses or use me to buy, because I'm kind of the new guy in the street. Actually they did, and I'm starting to get referral business, and I picked up some some overage from some people in the office that are like, you try to see if you can convert this one. And that's done pretty well too.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So about 2.5 million.
Yep, 2.5 million.
In less than a year?
Less than a year. Yep.
Nice. Well done.
Yeah, thanks.
Really
Yeah, I ended up doing about another $500,000 within the first week. We just couldn't get them close to the end of the year. The holidays and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Things with some setbacks, but I'm like,
We've talked a couple times, and I know that you have many other business ventures and different stuff like that. So what is really interesting to me is that, can you tell us how you approached real estate when you wanted to treat it more like a business? Because you have success in other businesses.
Yes.
Many
Yep.
others, and how? Because a lot of people will come in and just focus on sales and family, friends, expired, for sale by owners. And you're kind of a different track. So.
Yeah. I think one thing I've learned is everybody has their approach. And do you want to go inside the sphere? Do you want to cold call? Do you want what do you want to do? For year one, I had no real expectations. It was just kind of wing it, see what happens. Which I think for business that carries over to my other businesses. Like, you don't really know. You have an idea, you study, you market research, you analyze, and then you see what happens. But one thing I've learned from all the other businesses, I come from the entertainment industry, so being approachable, and then being in the service industry, like, you got good margins, which is great, but it'll make or break you. You're always on a teetering scale. Are people going to like me? Are they going to want to book? But the number one thing is just systems in place. Have an idea, know what you're going to do, look at the numbers, and make sure it's all making sense. And a lot of it is just asking people questions. Especially with your clients. How'd you find me? And building that relationship so they're going to use you in the future. I come from, one of my businesses was I still have it today, the wedding industry. So it worked out really well for real estate because I could DJ your wedding, and then you can help me buy a house after you're married. It worked out well. And then people, you build that relationship one-on-one, because especially when you're a DJ, you're kind of in everybody's business, and you're learning a lot about them. And one thing I've sort of, I guess, struggled with that is I'm not I'll sell anything as long as I believe in it. And, I like, for me, one of the biggest things I always keep in my mind when I show like a buyer a house is, it's not my job to sell them a house. It's my job to sell them the right house. And I struggle with that because I've always been in sales, and I've always had pride in my product. And that house is not my product. Like, my client is my product. So I just have to make sure, like, when I see something like, oh yeah, this kitchen looks great, these floors look perfect, that I'm not, turning this client into buying a house that they may or may not want at the end of the day, because it can happen. And it is a big purchase, and I think they need to understand that. But that's always been like sort of my focus, and it's my personal kind of mountain that I always just like think, I'm like, don't sell them the house. Now it's different now if I'm running an open house and I'm like, you guys all want to buy this house. Like, this is the greatest house on the block, I promise you that. But so.
And you have more say in that product, right?
Exactly.
You take the listing.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, and then you educate yourself on the listing. All the goods about it, and what are going to get people to buy, and hope that you can get a buyer.
So for 2019, you said this year you were just winging it, and it worked out.
Yeah.
And it worked out really well.
Yeah.
So what is your plan for 2019? What are you going to do differently? What would you keep the same? What would you do differently?
I mean, 18 went well, so I think winging it again is great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to, for 2019, my plan is to focus on follow-up. Now that I've established that, I got to make sure these people remember me.
Mm-hmm.
So working on that, and then obviously the name of the game right now, it seems like we're still in a seller's market. So finding more listings. Did pretty good with that last year. I think for year one, I obviously did more buy side than sell side. But I'm seeing a bit of a natural progression into the commercial side of things, which I sort of foreseen because I was been in business for a while, so I know a lot of business owners and people with real estate. So I think I'm going to see hopefully a boost in that for 2019. I think that will help kind of keep me busy.
Yeah.
Other than that, I think it just kind of
same plan.
Yeah, same plan. Just kind of just see what happens. I think it takes a little while. You just gotta.
Are you the kind of person who walks into an event and just makes friends, or what are you doing to connect with your sphere or your people? How are you getting the word out?
Yeah. So one thing I found out is I tend to walk into a room and I usually know somebody from something, whether it be prior job, other business. Muskegon. It's not a huge place by any means, but you meet new people every day, and you got to have, I guess, that that open mind that you're going to have a conversation with somebody. I mean, a lot of it is just knowing somebody and getting introduced, and like I said, I already have a pretty good network of people, and that I've been fortunate, and my concern with that, I guess, is. I don't know. Do we really know who's going to call us tomorrow?
Right.
So just making it known, keeping it known, being available, and fingers crossed that they call me when they want to buy or sell a house.
What did you do when you first got into to introduce yourself to your people? What was your method?
Honestly, my biggest thing so far, and statistically, it seems like it doesn't really it's not overly beneficial, but it's sort of there, has been Facebook. Mm-hmm. I do a lot on my Facebook business page. I try to carry that over to my personal page without it being, redundant or, excessive. But it's funny, I was just talking about this with my wife yesterday. I made sort of a series of posts, and usually it's just stuff off the top of my head. I know things like predetermined, which it should be. I should be a little bit more organized, but I just don't operate that way. One was about a city assessment for a piece of property that I was looking at, and it was just this highly super expensive assessment for water sewer. Well, another agent in our office called me. She goes, I seen that post you made on Facebook about that water assessment. I'm having an issue over here. She was representing the seller, and she's like, you got any advice? And I'm like, yeah, we were kind of talking about it, and some of it was, stuff that I was very familiar with. Some of it was a little bit beyond. So I said, call Don. Don will help you with, the rest of it, but it's looking like this. So she's seen it. She's in real estate. That's good. That's great. It popped in her mind.
Yep.
And then I went to an appraisal on one of my properties that's under contract, and the appraiser shows up and he goes, I seen your post about that income property that you shared on Facebook. Yeah. He goes, my dad's looking for something like that. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, yeah, have him give me a call. And he shoots me a friend request on Facebook personally, and now we're chatting. He's looking for a little project flip house. And nice. Then there's been a couple of small instances like that where it's just like, this is actually it's a good resource. I mean, yeah, you get a lot of riffraff, but you're gonna get that. A lot of it I notice on there is land contract. Yeah. Will you take a land contract? It's not really my property. I'm just listing it. Yeah. But the nice thing about that is you do spark a conversation, and I have some of the lenders that work with. From what my experience is, and this may not be the case in all, but when anybody's asking for a land contract, they usually have a lower credit score, and so I get them hooked up with a good lender. And that works with it. So either we can get them pre-approved as they are at a 580 or higher, or put a plan in place, in 6 months. And I had one that we've converted that had a really low credit score, and it was nothing bad. They just had a couple of small things, and we sold them a house. So nice. I'm hoping, 6 months from turnover that we can get them in a house.
Nice. Do you stay in contact in any way with those people that you're shoveling, or is it just not a bunch?
There's a lot. Yeah. Whenever I get a listing, especially depends on the price point, I usually get, until it goes live, until we get an accepted offer, probably a dozen contacts through Facebook. And that's my goal for 2019 is to follow up with them. And that's been my biggest problem, I guess, is putting a system in place to contact through Facebook Messenger, because they message you personally, message you through the page, which I like the page better because I don't get a ton of traffic on there, and then my personal one, I handle a lot of personal stuff. So yeah, follow-up's been pretty bad on that for me. I try to, but sometimes you get lost. People can be pages and pages down before you, and you're like, what was her name?
Right.
And then I had one deal where I was dealing with 4 different people named Stephanie, and it's and I'm really bad with names, so I'm like, okay. And then I just try to remember, is it Stephanie with an I, Stephanie with an IE? So I think what I'm going to try to do is put it into a spreadsheet, and I've already started doing that, but I usually do it with clients that I've already started showing houses to. So if I already started showing, I put their name in there, their email, their phone number, and a little note section. That's one thing I've learned from other businesses, just hey, so-and-so, likes blue houses. They all like blue houses, so try to look at blue houses.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I have a question about kind of your mindset. What is do you have a couple overriding beliefs? Like you just shared, it's your job to sell them the right house, not just sell them a house. And do you have any kind of motivating things because you seem very busy and positive, and
yeah,
you just wake up that way?
Yeah, I love what I'm doing, and I've been fortunate where I've been that way for a long time. Coming in the wedding industry, you can't have a bad day.
Right.
We've all seen the DJ horror stories. The same thing with a realtor. You show up at a house and you're all flustered and distracted. It's not going to be it's not going to be a good experience for these folks. It's going to be bad. And I got my stresses in life.
Sure.
We all do, and a lot of them have came from landlord tenant.
Yeah, right.
It's nothing bad, but it's when I ask you, hey, I got this, I got a showing, I got, I got to send a guy in there to clean out the sewer, whatever, and then I don't get a reply, but then it's oh, the sewer's backed up.
Yeah.
It's you couldn't answer 3 days ago when I texted you and called, So, but no, I'm pretty easy go. I've been in, I've dealt with the public a majority of my adult career. So, yeah, but I honestly, I'd say my biggest thing is, and this is what I tell everybody, no matter what you're doing, whether you're going into business or you work for somebody, just do what you say you're going to do when you're going to do it. That's the biggest thing. People show up late to work and stuff like that. Everybody's got excuses, especially in the flipping houses. Everybody knows we've been on the deal with contractors, subcontractors. They don't show up. You call in the phone book. You call 6 of them. 1 of them shows up, and you just usually end up going with the only guy that shows up because you're he's the only one that showed up. So let's call it good. But yeah, as long as you just do what you say you're gonna do when you're gonna do it, you'll be successful. And another thing, with being busy, because I am focusing 100% on the buy and sell stuff. I got some flip houses that I'm wrapping up, but I don't really want to do that anymore unless I get a really good one. I just really I like this house. It's going to be cool when it's done. But I really want to take away some of the stresses I have in life. That way I can just breathe a little more.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Awesome, man.
That's great.
Yeah.
So do you have any do you have any other questions? Do we have any questions from the floor?
Well, Joanna Lasser loved your boiler guy.
Yeah, he's great.
And she said, she said some good things about you. So, I think you have a fascinating story because you built your own home.
Yeah,
you just sold it.
Yep.
And what was you mentioned to me you're simplifying life, or you're downsizing life, or you're just
financial freedom, man. Yeah. We my wife and I bought a house back in 2009. Didn't know anything about really real estate, but we bought a house on a foreclosure. Got real fortunate with the house. We did some repairs and we sold it. Made some money. So we're that money allowed us to build a house on a lake. We're this is cool.
Yeah.
So we did that. We lived in a camper while we built the house. We were just kind of roughing it. Got the house done, and with the overages, we didn't really prepare for the property taxes like we should have, and it was a mistake on my end. It was also a mistake even with financing. Like we overbuilt the house, and we just didn't prepare for that. So we just couldn't really catch up, and it's like we were just treading water. We were working hard, we were making money, but it was all going to bills.
Yeah.
So we're just like, the market's good. I'm in real estate. I can sell this house. So we did some comps and went to town, and we ended up selling it and downsizing, and quality of life has gotten so much better.
Nice.
Just wake up, going to work, and doing things because I want to do it, not necessarily because I have to do it.
Yep.
It's been.
That's a game changer.
Yeah. It is. And I'm dealing with a client right now who's kind of in a tough spot. He's got his dream house, and it's just not. He's kind of like I was. He just can't get it where it needs to be, and he reached out to me, and we're looking, at selling it. But he's like, "It's my dream house, man." I'm like, "Dude, I've been there. It was my dream house, and I was fortunate to be able to walk away and turn a profit on it, which was." I was ecstatic about. It allowed me to do other things. So I'm like, sometimes you just gotta walk away.
Yeah.
And it sucks, but that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
So
it's a good outlook.
Yeah. And you're lucky that we're in the economy we're in. I know, like a lot of my clients when I first started this, I'm like, I'm 35. My clients, my sphere, my friends and family, they're living in houses. They're not going anywhere. They like where they're at.
Yep.
And the ones that have used me to buy or sell their houses has been really nice because a lot of them bought. So what are we? 7 years average in a house.
Yeah.
So a lot of them bought in 2011, 2012. The economy tanked and it was just kind of just bottomed out. So when they're walking away with a check for 50, 60 grand.
Yeah.
And it's like this is allowing them to buy new houses, buy bigger houses, buy houses with property.
Yeah.
So it's a good spot to be in for anybody that's selling. And I tell people, if this isn't the dream house, the place you see yourself, sell it. Sell it and do something else at least for a little while. Take the cash and go on vacation or bank it or do something.
Yeah.
So.
I have a question about, so you're newer to the real estate sales side of stuff. That Paul's been doing it, 10 years?
2006.
2006.
So we're nearing 13.
13. Baker's
years.
dozen.
Yeah. Baker's dozen.
And so are there any, as you entered into your real estate career, the selling side, I know that you had experiences before this. Are there any distractors, like time eaters that you're just like, you found out and you're like, why am I spending time on this? This is not...
I can't really say that I've crossed. There's some things that that were expected that were like that. The biggest, I guess, distractor for me would be when you show somebody a couple of houses and then they're like, we found another one. We're gonna buy one from our family or something like that. That's been kind of the worst thing.
The wind out of the sails.
Yeah, it's kind of like, dang, I thought we had this one, But yeah, and I've only had one or two clients that were like that. But I had some good friends of mine that I think they actually were keeping count. I wasn't keeping count. They're good friends, and I don't really keep count anyway. But they're pretty sure that they went through 50 houses.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And we found the right one for them. What it came down to was like, you guys need to buy a house with a pool. Like, that's just where you guys want to be at.
Yeah.
They're like, no, we don't really care about a pool. They bought a house with a pool.
Yeah.
But
it takes some time sometimes to figure all that out.
Yeah. But no major distraction. The only thing is, and it was something that actually I think we kind of chatted about before was, a lot of the back end paperwork stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's a lot to take on for a new agent. Like, you're doing the sales side, trying to get listings, and then you're going like, man, I feel like there's a way to do this a little bit better.
Yeah.
Basically hire somebody.
Yeah.
So
if you're not going to be great at the paperwork and that's going to pull you down and keep you away from your highest dollar volume, your highest dollar activity.
Yep.
Katie Gardner. Got a question.
So go ahead. This Katie asks, sounds like Tim has a wide variety of interests, not just real estate. Would he consider being knowledgeable about several different topics or activities? An important part of your real estate business.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Because coming from the the rental industry, as well as flipping homes, I think that's worked out really well. I've had clients where I've, step by step walked them through renovations to make their house worth substantially more.
Yep.
I've financed some renovations. Kind of a fine line, but you got a good friend, and you want to help them out. When we did, market value in the house is about $80,000. I said, we could put 3, 4, 5 grand into this house, and we could do it for 118, 120. It took a little extra time, but the nice thing about the nice turnkey house, it sells for more and it sells quicker, and the people that buy it get a better product. We've done some of those deals.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, and those are fun. I just had a client right now. We wrote an offer, and her biggest concern about a house was siding. I said, I got a guy that does siding. I'll send him over there and have him write a quote for you. And it was a lot cheaper than she expected. It ended up being about $5,000 to reside this house. And she goes, yeah, I'm all right with that. She goes, I don't have to do it, but I just don't like the way it looks. If if I can solve that problem, let's maybe ask a little off the purchase price. Let's try that. So being knowledgeable, I think in a broad array of real estate or related things definitely helps.
What's interesting is probably last year Paul and I did a boot camp on follow-up. We showed this video by Tom Ferry, and he was encouraging agents to be the hub. So when anyone that needs a siding guy. We've already heard about an assessment, a boiler from Joanna Lasser, now siding.
Yep.
And so you have strategically placed yourself visibly as being a hub of information for real estate things.
Yep. Yeah.
I think that's a very smart way to do.
Yeah, I agree. I think from my aspect, it was initially a great way to acquire clients. They reach out to you. I'm looking at this. Maybe it's a for sale by owner or a house they looked at on Zillow. What do you think? I think it needs a roof. So having the resources and at least even like a basic knowledge, like I did a roof like that. My guy usually charges me around $5,000 for a total tear off and reshingle. Okay, gives them an idea. But one thing I've noticed after doing this is it's also a great way to keep a deal together. I'm working with actually Thomas Serio. You guys know Thomas, right?
Yep.
5-star, and Tracy Sobish, and they had a listing, and the client actually happens to be my cousin, and he's like a brother to me. We grew up, back in the Lego days, and his biggest thing, he had this really like horrendous deal with a house with a bad roof. And like he can't buy a house that just has a less than perfect roof. But we found him like the perfect house, and this house was just so great for him. And his wife loves it, daughter loves it, great area. It's right by my house too, so it's perfect because our kids play together.
Yep.
And the roof was it wasn't bad, but it just wasn't great. So I said, well, let's look at this, and see what we can do. So I sent my guys out there. We did our home inspection, came back as pretty well expected, and I got him a quote to do the roof. So he's going to close in about 2 weeks, and the homeowners have 2 weeks to move out. We're going to have the crew go there while they're moving out and put a new roof on it, so he doesn't have to deal with it. Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah. So I'm like, you ain't got to worry about the roof?
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, same thing with flooring, actually. He decided he wants to do flooring. I got a flooring guy. He does most of my flip houses, so I called him. He come over there while we did our inspection, got us estimates, and as soon as the homeowners move out, he's going to come there, rip the flooring out, and put new flooring in there for him. Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's like, just a little, above and beyond, and you got to do that. Like, especially coming into the industry, there's a lot of guys and gals that have been in here for a while, and you gotta get that piece of the pie and make yourself stand out a little bit. So,
do you have so you've been in it for a full year on the professional side?
Yeah, almost. Yeah.
Is there any kind of words of encouragement, or do you think there's a secret formula for real estate now that you've?
Or what would you tell your friend or cousin or someone who was like, I'm going to get into real estate? Give me the plan.
Yeah. So what I would say to a new agent is be hungry. You got to want it. And already, what are we? 87% fill rate, right?
Yeah,
in real estate.
Big, yeah.
So I mean, it's not easy. They're not going to come pounding on your doors. Let me, I want to buy a house. I want you to do it. So you gotta do the follow ups. You gotta call people. You gotta reach out. You gotta have that right approach. You can't just be really cheesy and awkward. I don't. Maybe you could be. That might work too. I don't know. Depends on who you are. Yeah. But you got to be hungry. You got to want it, and you got to do things that aren't gonna pay out right away. You got to do the open houses. You gotta cold call. You gotta go door to door. You gotta get some listings off Zillow. one thing we were just talking about this at a little meeting we had the other day. Something kind of funny that I've done is you ever see like these sponsored posts come up on Facebook, like what's your house worth?
Yeah.
It'll be like some abstract company that you never heard of.
Yeah.
Well, they put the kibosh on it, but they were doing it for a while where people would comment, and you could just click on their profile and see where they were. And I'm like, you want to know what your house is worth? I'll tell you what your house is worth. I'm local.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, what's it? What's
so
it?
you just started reaching out to them?
Yeah, directly. Yeah. I'm like, sponsorship dollars.
That's
this
amazing.
is free. And I got two clients off from that.
So that wild post brings them out of the woodwork, and you just tell them like, hey man, I'm a real agent, live right down the road from you. Here's the truth.
Yeah, you got a huge company that's spending probably thousands of dollars, and like, being a new agent, we don't have those kind of marketing budgets. Like, I don't really spend hardly anything. I do a little bit of Facebook promotion, but a lot of it's the Sphere stuff. But yeah, I've reached out, but now they started locking up the comments, so you can't see them. I'm like, dang. But no, I had one where I was talking to a woman. She's like, oh, I already know what my house is worth, but my son's looking for a house, and you seem like you'd be a great fit for him. I'm like, yeah. So what's his email? Gives me his email. I reach out to him, and he replies within a couple of minutes. I'm like, this guy's great, So I said, what are you looking for in a house? What's your budget? Are you pre-approved? A lot of that, obviously, I don't know if other agents, I'm sure they do, but having good lenders is obviously key, to put the person in touch with the right lender that's going to suit them. That way it's, as seamless as possible. But yeah, that's I guess the biggest advice is be hungry, do the open houses. Mm-hmm. Some of them are going to flop. Some of them are going to do well. And go out and do the things that, may not seem extremely beneficial at first, but somehow translate to business. We even within the brokerage, like I've been, to the 5-star the holiday parties and the Christmas parties and stuff like that, and I've had other agents, even Grand Rapids, are like, I got a friend in Muskegon that's looking for a place. Would you help him buy? Yeah, sure. Yeah, and that's business to business referrals are great too. There's another agent in Grand Rapids that sends me pretty much everything that comes to Muskegon. We got a nice little split going. And
nice.
Yeah. And I know him for years ago. We used to race together. So I'm like, I never knew. And back then, I had no idea about real estate. I didn't know he even worked for 5-star. I was talking with Greg, and he was like, oh, yeah, he's been here for years.
Yeah, that's awesome,
cool.
man.
Well, that's great.
Yeah.
That's the first time I've ever heard of that tactic.
Yeah.
Where the advertiser draws them out of the woodwork, and you just sort of
don't base your industry on that, but
yeah, but
I mean, if it works, it works.
It's just creative thinking, man.
Yeah, it's a little different, and you kind of you ride that train till it stops sometimes.
Sure.
And the thing is too is like it's the marketing approach. And sometimes you look at that stuff and you get a good idea, and you don't want to rip it off verbatim. But like if I make a post like what's your house worth, and I put it on, like I'm not gonna get a lot of response because I got like maybe 400 some people that like the page, and it's not. But these mega companies and stuff like that, you just got to use it all for to your advantage. And that's same thing with like Zillow and stuff like that. Like I don't really know enough about it, because I haven't really been in that long. But I know it has changed things. Mm-hmm. But one thing I've noticed, like as a new agent struggling with just taking it all in, like the MLS. Like I had people subscribed to searches that were just totally stupid. Like it was like I did it and somehow I got attached to their emails, send them these random listings. I figured that out since. But as a new agent, like it's an awesome tool because you get people that are like, hey, I want to see this house. They send you a screenshot of the house on Zillow. Saying like, yeah, I can show you the place, no problem. I haven't quite figured out how this MLS thing works yet, but you find them and I'll show you. I'll be the guy that unlocks the door for you. I'm all right with that too, till you learn.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's awesome, man. Well, thank you for sharing with us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, we didn't even have time to talk about cars, man.
All right, we'll do it again.
We'll do it again.
No, that's great. So, Tim, thanks.
Cool, yeah.
All right, Tim.
Hey.
Thanks, buddy.
Yep, thanks for having me.
All right, cool, man.
All right.
Okay, see everybody. If you have any questions for Tim, send them through. We'll reply.
Yeah.
See you guys.